You are listening to the Unguarded podcast. My name is Joe Smith. This is my wife, Bec.
Hi.
What's up, girl?
Welcome to the first live podcast.
First
recording.
live podcast.
What?
Here we go.
This is a gift.
So exciting. Like, you remember when we were having conversations about starting this. We even dreamed about one day doing a live episode and opening up the room for our friends. And the reason is because we want to create space for people to talk about the nitty gritty in relationships, the real stuff, the hard things. And even in the name, right? The name, the origin of Unguarded was from a conversation with Pastor Irwin meant something different happens to us when we live completely unguarded, when we're open. And so just that thought got in our brain, in our soul. And when it comes to relationships, the healthiest relationships you'll ever be in are the ones where you can fully be yourself.
It's true.
When the guards just come down. And so that's our hope tonight, is that we get real, we go some places, the guards will come down. And so we were thinking of like themes, right? What to talk about. Yeah. And one idea we had was like what we would say to our single self. Does that sound interesting?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you're here and you are your single self. But we've been married 14 years now,
and it just gets better and better.
It gets better and better. Yes. Yeah. Every day, every year. So we came up with a little list. Maybe we can like rapid fire some of the things.
Okay.
And if there's something you like in it, maybe we can park in it. Like we'll tell by audience participation. Like, ooh, we'll slow down a little bit. Right?
I was writing a new one, but okay. Number 1, you're not alone. 2.
Oh, whoa, you go so fast. Wow. Okay.
You said rapid fire.
Yes, you're right. Okay.
You're more loved than you know. 3, don't run when things get hard. 4, choose.
Don't run when things get hard. Any runners in the building?
Yeah, I've been a runner. I'm not running now though, but
ain't nowhere to run.
There's nowhere to run. You're just gonna hunt me down. I'm just kidding.
But LA Marathon's coming up. But this is, I feel like, one of the things that we talk a lot with our friends who are single. When you get to that point in a relationship where there's tension, right? We all know that touch point when you're like, okay, here it is. Like, I'm a runner, I'm a track star, right? And it's just, maybe you're here, and that's the little piece you really needed to grab a hold of. Is sometimes the beautiful thing and the like breakthrough, you don't find it until you learn to stop running.
Yeah.
And that the other person doesn't need to change. Maybe it's just that you need to find the power to stay. Okay. Sorry, keep going.
4, choose someone who sees you at your best. 5, boundaries are gold. Expectations bring clarity. Now for me, boundaries was not a thing that I knew before meeting Joe. And it didn't even dawn on me until recently when I was listening to another Friends of Our podcast, which is Haven's podcast. And someone said, like, she asked this guest, do you have boundaries? And the person said, no, I don't think I even lived with any boundaries in my life. Like, there was no boundaries growing up. And it dawned on me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I have a hard time with boundaries, because boundaries to me growing up was a negative thing. And if you have a boundary, it means you don't like someone. And in my mind, I'm like, I like everyone. So then I just didn't have boundaries. And then I met you, and you had clear boundaries. And I was like, woo, this is hard, but this is like good. It's like good, hard, like clarifying and brought me to my better self.
But why are boundaries important? Because you hear that term, that phrase a lot. Why are boundaries essential? It even feels restrictive, right? You know, like boundaries. Why do I gotta have boundaries?
Yeah. Well, I think it's because when you value yourself, then you will find that you have boundaries and that you can clearly communicate it to someone, and it doesn't mean anything to do with the other person. It's just your value. And when I was growing up, it felt like if I had a boundary to anyone, especially my family, it meant that you were betraying them. And so then I thought, well, I shouldn't have boundaries then, because every time I try to create a boundary, I'm hated for it, or they think I hate them, and that's a worse feeling. So then I just thought, okay, this is not healthy. And then I met you, and you were like, no, this is a good thing, and had like friends like Mariah and Zoti like teach me. Like friendships are just so key when it comes to building the character that you need to be what you need.
Yep.
A spouse or a husband. And they helped refine me to be great. And they helped me realize if I hit their boundaries, I don't need to take it personally. Because that's what I did. I would take personally, oh, they don't like me because they put a boundary up. No, it's got nothing to do with that. A boundary is just a healthy, this is my value.
Even I remember in dating, that was some of the fights that we had.
Oh, that's
Because,
true.
yeah, I remember one time I was like, yeah, we're not going to do this. And she's like, why? Because the church said so? Right?
I did not say it like that. Lisa, I did not say that.
Because it was like, but I'm free. I'm my own person. You remember those comments?
Yeah,
It's
you're just
unguarded.
exaggerating.
Can we get real, right?
Yeah.
Right? You're not the person you used to be, but same with me.
Uh-huh.
But it was some real stuff, right? But I feel like I love that you were honest about it, because that's the thing. You can't get on the other side of an issue until you're honest about it. Until you declare it, right? And so there was resistance to that because of upbringing, because of things you saw.
Yeah, it felt like maybe you were controlling.
For sure.
But that was just a lens that I had at the time.
And maybe I was controlling. Who knows?
No, but you really were trying to fight for my best.
Yes. Yeah.
And at the time, it felt like you were like hitting me with all the things, and it felt tough. But actually, you were like, no, because I know what you're going to be. And this isn't it.
Yeah, and it's really a conversation around freedom. Because the lie is that like boundaries or guidelines, whatever language you want to put on it, limit your freedom. The opposite is true. It actually sets you free.
Yeah.
You get to create the version of you that you always long for, your best self, right? I was right here talking to this guy who came to me, and he's like, hey, I need your help. I'm dating. Me and my girl, we've been dating for 3 years. We're trying to figure out the next step. But he said, hey, 2 weeks ago, we had the like real talk. We talked about abstinence. And he's like, we committed. And it was funny. He was like especially in church, we try to use all the words and not say the very thing. I'm like, bro, just say it. Y'all decided to stop having sex. What are you afraid of? Like, you can say the word sex in church. It's okay, y'all, right? And he said, what do I do next? Because I don't know what our next step is. And I said, oh, this is beautiful. See, because he's like, we've been dating 3 years. I said, you haven't been dating for 3 years. This new version of you've been dating for 2 weeks. And so look at this as an opportunity that you get to start from scratch, that God's giving you a new future, and that you get to tell your girlfriend, and she gets to tell you, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. This is what we're going to create moving forward. Yeah. That's good, John. And I never told him that he should not have sex with his girlfriend before he's married. Nobody at the church did, because when you choose health, you meet God in the midst of those conversations. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay. 6, humble yourself again and again. The ego might feel powerful in the moment, but if you let your ego lead, you'll destroy the person you once loved and admired. Hard to be humble. Sit down. Be humble. I feel like he's been the rapper all day today, and I'm just like, nah, we have to. No, I'm just kidding. You're so good at it. Okay, 7. Thanks, Robbie. Stay true to yourself, but if you don't know your values and your beliefs, then find it before you get into a relationship. Because that's the thing. You think, oh, I need to find someone, and then it will heal me. Like, when I met Joe, I just wanted you to make me feel better all the time. Like, if I was having a bad moment, I was like, make me feel better. And then I was forcing him to do that. And it wasn't until you had that hard conversation with me that you were like, no, you just need to grow and you need to change. And this is not on me. I would force you to apologize for something that he never did. I don't know if anyone else does those weird things, but I would.
Super fun. I love those moments. Fun. Yeah.
It's like, I'm crazy. I'm like, you said that. And he's like, I never said that. I'm like, yeah, you did. And then as I'm saying it, I'm realizing he never did. I'm like, like, let me go and die in a corner right now because I feel like an idiot. But you were like, no, you can get through this and you can get better. So I just didn't have those core values. I felt like it had to be refined, and I shouldn't rely on you to make me happy. I need to find that in myself.
Yep. Because maybe we can jump to the last one for time's sake, but also because I think it's the most powerful, and it's connected to what you're saying.
Take the pressure off. Enjoy your life. That one?
Yes. And here's why we want to kind of like segue in this. A friend sent us this article, and here's what it says. Maybe you can resonate with this.
Yeah.
It says, LA is officially one of the world's worst cities for dating. Isn't that encouraging?
Yeah, great.
Some of you are like, yeah, obviously. Officially one of the world's worst cities for dating. Here's my favorite part of the article. It says, according to locals. I was dying. Nothing official at all.
Yeah.
But
no stats.
according to Angelinos. But let's just do a little census. Like, if you're here and you're single, make some noise. Raise your hand. Make some noise. Okay.
Majority.
All right. We've got a fresh room. All right. Make some noise if you're single and like open and interested in a relationship. Oh, okay. So like half what about the other half? Why are you lying?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Who are you lying to?
I'm looking at you.
You know you're
You're
open.
lying. Oh, they're lying. Are you lying? I see you. No, you're not. You're just not ready for it. Okay.
But here's the reality. LA is a very difficult city to date in. It is hard out here on these streets. And from what I hear, right? But so, okay, what do we do? Do we just throw our hands up? Do we just say,
How do you know?
I'm just going to wait, going to hope God sends me my person, going to hope, the stars align? And because here's the other dynamic. Not only is it difficult in LA, it's even more difficult, I think, when you're talking about how to date in church in LA. Like that's one of the hardest pieces, right? And that's a conversation we have with our friends all the time, going, how do I find a good guy, a good girl? Like, I'm open, I'm interested, but I don't want to go and meet people in the bar necessarily. I don't want to go to the club. I want to meet them in church, but then how do you engage somebody at church? How do you flirt in church? Right? There's a science to it. Some of y'all are afraid to flirt in church.
It's true.
But sometimes, but if you can't do it here, where can you do it?
I was just going to say that.
If you can't find someone here, where will you find someone? I see you, Dennis, right? He
went there.
Dennis, what is that? Hey, if you're here and single, raise your hand. Dennis can't raise his hand no more. Right?
Fresh off the press.
That was one of my favorite moments. We're doing a relationship class on Wednesday nights, which we have our last one coming up this Wednesday. You should join. But it was awesome looking at the screen. And I see Dennis with somebody in his Zoom square.
And we were like, what?
I said, let's go, Dennis.
And they were just laughing and giggling away. I'm like.
But what I love about that is that not only they met here, they served together here.
Yeah.
They're doing life together here. And it's riskier. It's harder. It's more complicated. Yeah. But I have a sense it'll be that much more beautiful when and if it works out. You with me?
Yeah.
Like we gotta take our shots. Yeah. We gotta risk, go there. Because if not here, where? That's all I got.
No, that's good. I mean, we met here. We met at
did?
Mosaic. And I love how you talk about that you asked me on a date and I said no.
You sure did.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But I'm the one that came up to you first.
Which is why it's so confusing. Right? Comes up to me first, spits her game, flirts, we connect. I was like, cool, this is going well. Hey, you want to go grab lunch? No, I'm good. This is why dating in LA is impossible.
I was playing hard to get. I was playing a little this felt too quick. I'm like, don't you want to give a beat or something, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Give a day. And I have to say, you did ask me 2 days later to go on a date. We're group days, safe. And I was like, yes.
A group hang. It wasn't
Group
a
hang.
group date.
No,
That's what
the point.
cults do.
Okay.
Or group dates.
Group hang at Poetry Lounge. But I feel like this is the safest place just to try. Like, you obviously are here because you care about the same thing. Even if you don't know Jesus yet, which is totally cool, but you're on a journey and you're like, I'm interested in what's the next thing? Something must be out there. And you're here in the same space, so you should just try it and go for it. And I think not being so afraid of what's going to happen at the end of it. What if it does work?
Yep.
And there's so many people, honestly, that have gone for it, and they've literally met their spouse, like Danny and Nia Bucco. He served one time at the door over there for like the home team, said hi, saw beautiful Nia, who was like once Miss USA, and was like, she's beautiful. And then went up to her, said hi, went on a date and got married, and they have 3 kids.
4.
Now 4 coming along, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just don't know until you like say hi and go for it.
Absolutely. Like, if the scriptures are true, right? We're at church. We should have some Bible tonight. He cheered for that. Yeah. Listen to the words in Psalm chapter 37. Take delight in the Lord. Let's just pause there for a second. Take delight in the Lord. That, and I love the song we were singing the moment Mariah led us in. That pure. It's just you and Jesus. There's something profound that can happen. Before we should be consumed with finding a spouse, let's be consumed with connecting to the God of the universe. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can give your future spouse is your intimacy with Christ. Take delight in the Lord. I love it. It doesn't just say spend time with God. It doesn't just say go to church. It doesn't say read your Bible. What does it look like to have delight in the person of Jesus? Like that spoke to me today when I was reading it. Take delight in the Lord. And then here's the byproduct of delight. Here's the invitation from God, and He will give you the desires of your heart. It's this important, like, framework that God is trying to invite us into when it comes to relationships. That if we can align ourselves correctly, and especially if you're a person of faith, if you're here and you're on a spiritual journey and you're figuring out who God is, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're here. I love that. But I know there's some of you that you're like, I want to be married and I want to be in a relationship with somebody who believes in Jesus and is rooted as well. Here's one of the greatest ways that you can attract somebody who's connected to Jesus. Be madly in love with the person of Jesus.
Yeah.
Because we will always find what we are attracted to. You with me? Yeah. And I think far too often it's more of a wish. We hope and we wish that God gives us somebody who has a faith and believes. But then we haven't taken our faith seriously. Yeah. We haven't taken delight in the Lord. So then we wonder, why is it that it seems like his abs are more profound than his spiritual life? but you got to do that self-reflection. I had to do that self-reflection in my life, that I was not the person that I needed to be worthy of the person that God wanted for me. And so before I could meet her, before I ever knew her name, I decided, no, the most important person that needs to be on my heart is the person of Jesus. And I'm just going to root myself. And then I don't think it's a coincidence that 4 years before we ever meet, on opposite ends of the world, her in Australia, me in LA, we both make a commitment to put Jesus at the core of our lives. Yeah. And not doing it so that he would give us a spouse. Because, we tricky. We sneaky. We go, God, I'm all yours because I want him. Right? But you do have to find that balance of going, no, I'm good. Yeah. like one moment that marked me, and then maybe close our thought, and then we'll open up to questions. One moment that marked me during the Olympics was a speed walker, which is hilarious that speed walking is an Olympic sport. But it was, and she was Australian, and she won the gold. And there was an interview asking her, like, what does this moment mean? How is it? And I'll never forget what she said. She said, I've been training my whole life for this since I was a kid. Early mornings, late nights, dreaming about this moment here in the Olympics, putting that gold medal on my neck. And the interviewer asked her, how does it feel? And she said, it feels incredible, but it's not everything. Because I had a shift in my mindset that I feel like set me free. And she said, I want it, but don't need it.
Yeah, it's good.
When I heard that, I said, oh, see, that is a powerful principle in life, and an even more powerful principle when it comes to relationship. I want it, I don't need it. Tell God what you want. Let him know the desires of your heart. Just don't chase it. Don't be desperate for it. Trust that God is worthy of your best, and then he is who he said he is, and watch the beautiful things of all the fingerprints of God day after day after day after day. Want it, but don't need it.
Yeah, that's good. I actually was listening to the study and how that he was saying that when people got married, they didn't get happier because they were married. So if you're happy before marriage, you'll be happy. The same level of happiness will happen when you are married. And if you're sad in life and you get married, you're sad in marriage. So I thought that was interesting because most of the time we think, oh, it's like if I get this job, if I get this relationship, if I get married, then I'll be happy. And that's why we like beg God, like just bring me the person and then I know I'll be happy. But he knows this isn't true. And it's an ideal that we have. But really, God's like, that's why I love that verse. Desire me first. And I remember the moment when he was like, will you trust me with every part of your life? Not just part of it, not just the part that you feel comfortable with, but everything. And that last part that was the hardest to give him was relationships. Because if I met someone that was cute, but he didn't believe in Jesus, I was like, does it really matter? Like, he's cute.
How cute was he?
Yeah, it wasn't as cute as you.
Yeah, no.
But that's the thing. I was like, I would just go for it. And I'm like, why am I going for it? But again, I hadn't completely trusted God with everything. I was like half in and half out. And it's just so little that God can do when you're half in, half out. He needs you all in. And then he'll start changing you. Then he'll start putting the broken pieces together so that you become whole, that you find complete joy in him and your friends and your life. Then you'll meet the person and you'll have an incredible marriage and life,
It's good. One last one, because don't date out of desperation. It ain't cute, all right? Okay, so we're going to have a time where we're going to open it up. We love...
That was a transition, babe.
I know.
Ain't cute. Because you're married. I get it. It's okay. It's okay to want it. It's just that, right? It's okay to want to date. And I think it's good to date. It's just that not feeling like you have to put all your power in someone else and thinking, hey, I need you to make me happy or I need you to make me whole. Because God is the one that you put it all in his hands. And he will make you whole. And he will make you happy.
It's great. Way to bring it back. That's why she's
you.
here. Love it. Okay, so...
Yeah, let's...
So we're going to do live Q&A in the room. We have some questions that were texted in as well that we might hit. But here's Ann. Ann, raise your hand. Say what's up. Everybody say, what up, Ann?
Hi, Ann.
And over here we got Reggie. Say, what up, Reggie?
Hey, Reggie.
They were very strategically picked because they're both single, okay? So here's what I told them. They are only allowed to give the mic to those that they're attracted to. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding, right? I'm totally kidding. But go as you will. But here's what we're going to do is if you have a question, raise your hand. They're going to come find you. but they're going to hold the mic for you. It's the Mosaic universal rule, right? Because some of y'all love to grab the mic and then you have all the power, and then you start giving your like thesis on relationships, all right?
Yeah.
So ask a question, don't tell a story, or don't give an insight, right? You can give the stories afterwards at the after party, okay? Because we want to try to get through as many questions as we can, because we want this time to be helpful. So the reason we're doing it is we're going to give perspective, we're going to give insights, and hopefully there's something that really speaks to you and moves you, okay? Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Any questions? That's it. Ooh,
Oh, I
first.
love that.
Right away. All right. One of y'all go. Somebody.
Because it's in the middle, no one wants to come.
And then tell us your name, and then stand. Yeah.
I'm Dana. My question is, when you were dating, how did you know when it was time to go from dating to getting engaged?
Good question.
I mean, I knew pretty quickly.
Right? You said what took you so long? That's what I read from that comment. Yeah. No, I love that because there is something, right, where you got to know yourself. You got to know, okay, do I move too quickly or do I move too slowly? Know what your starting point is, so that you have language and you know your patterns, right? And people talk about there's love at first sight, or this was the moment I knew I was going to propose. I didn't have a moment when I knew I was going to propose to Bec. It wasn't like the stars aligned. It wasn't like God said, now, propose to her. What I like to say is there were moments that were like pebbles that I just kept gathering in my coat. Oh, I saw her do this. I saw her interact here.
That's why it took so long.
There's a lot of pebbles, y'all.
It's like little.
But there was all these moments where I saw, okay, there's something about her that I'm not necessarily going, oh, that's the woman God gave me, but that's the woman is worthy of my best. That's the woman that if I could choose someone, it would be like her. Yeah. But one of the seminal moments in our relationship and getting me to that point was first time I ever heard her pray. Because I thought she was beautiful. I thought we had chemistry. I loved our time together. But I'd never been in a relationship where I saw somebody's spiritual life as like something that I was attracted to. And it seems weird even to talk about, right? How are you attracted to somebody spiritually? But when I heard Bec pray for the first time, I already thought she was beautiful. She became even more beautiful. Because there's something about when you see the intimacy that person has nothing to do with you. It pulls you closer to your relationship with Jesus. And I blogged that, and I was like, dang, yeah, I want a wife that prays like that. So that's for me.
I mean, you go slow and I go fast. And I was like, marry me, propose.
Yeah, it was very early on our dating. Rebecca told me this. Then I had told God, I had a conversation with God, the next guy I kiss is going to be my husband.
I'm weird. I did not mean, I don't know why I said that to him. I just said that everything that was inside of my head, I just said it out loud. Like,
and here was the problem. We had kissed.
Exactly.
So I was like, this is a lot of pressure.
So much pressure. That's not fair. Do not do that. I don't even know. I guess it's for me is I was trying to tell him that I just don't want to just date for fun. And I think that's what I was trying to say, but didn't do it well. I freaked him out, but luckily he stuck around. And that's really what I was trying to tell you is that, hey, I don't want to do this dating thing anymore. I just want to find the person, and this is where I'm at. And if you're not there, it's okay. We can part ways now, but this is like I'm 100% like wanting to find my person. So that's why. But yeah, I think I just knew your character just amazed me. Like the way that you were with your friends and the friends you had around you. I was like, I just wanted to be in his world. And when I went to my world, funnily enough, when I went to my world and you came into my world, I started not liking you so much, which is so silly. But I realized recently, even doing this podcast, that I started running away from what was actually healthy about him. And because he was so different, it made me like, do I have the, oh, you're so different. Like, but he was different in the good way. He was different because he was pushing me to be the person I wanted to become, and I just had to trust that. And so then when I did that, then I was like, okay, I want to marry you. I want to have your babies. So if you know if you want to have, no, just kidding. Don't trust that. Okay, next question.
Hey guys, I'm Joe the Stander.
Hi.
So my question is, as a single God-fearing man with experienced a lot of rejection, how do we stay unguarded for opportunities?
I love the little
sweet.
unguarded plug right there.
Yeah.
Well done. I love it. Yes, that's a real question. It's a hard reality, right? Because what do you do when? How do you give your heart to somebody when you have had your heart broken?
Yeah.
Love is the most fragile thing on the planet. It's the most vulnerable thing. It's the most risky thing. Because you have no control over whether or not that person reciprocates your interest.
Yeah.
Where they reciprocate your love, right? And it's tough, right? How do you put yourself out there? How do you risk it? How do you date unguarded? You just have to ask yourself, and maybe this is a simple question, am I happy? Am I happy with where I'm at? Am I happy with my life, with my season? If you are, then you're good. You don't need to look for it. Because I think sometimes especially in church, you feel the pressure of like, oh, I got to be married. I got to have a family. Who puts that pressure on us? Yeah. I hope we don't. We're not trying to put any pressure on. We're just trying to share our story. Yeah. We're trying to share our experience. We've discovered a love that's forever changed us, and we want everybody as well. But if you're good, be good. Yeah. But then if you're like, I am open, I do want to date, you just have to decide, do I believe the God the scriptures talk about, that he's the God who gives good things? Do I believe that if I put myself out there, even if I'm wounded, there's no wound that God cannot heal? There's no wound that love cannot heal. What I do know is if you don't put yourself out there and you play it safe, your soul will always wonder what could have been.
That's
and a broken heart is better than a gate-kept heart. So put yourself out there. Trust that God can pull the pieces back together because I promise you it's worth it.
I have to say too that before I saw Joe and I liked, I was like, oh, he looks cool. I'm gonna follow him into church.
Again, stalker vibes.
I sat next to him. He got up. He moved. I was like, I could see that it's a rejection, but I'm gonna say it wasn't. I just convinced myself it wasn't. He walked away, and then I saw him at the exit, and he was about to leave. And I remember having a conversation with God, saying is this worth me going up to him when I'm sure I just arrived fresh off the plane? I can give it a couple of days, weeks. I'm sure people know him, and I'll meet him organically, and I won't have to take the risk. And I heard God tell me, if you don't take the risk, you're gonna regret it. And I had a playback of all the times that I saw someone, was curious about them, and then didn't go for it, and then it was awkward every time I saw that person. And he's like, you don't want it to be the same way here. Go for it. So with that boldness and confidence, I just walked right up to him and was like, hey, I'm Bec. What's your name, And the rest followed. But I was like, what's crazy is that was on a Sunday. He was leaving on a Tuesday night for a wedding, going away for a week, coming back for a couple of days, going away for 4 to 5 weeks. I was here for 7 weeks. If I didn't shoot my shot then, we may have never met. We may have met at the end of the summer when I was leaving. So you just never know the timing of it, and if it's your person, what do you got to lose, right? If they're worth it, if you think they could be your person, then they're worth the risk. So go for it.
It's great. All right. Other questions?
One here, one there.
Whoever's got the mic first. Okay, yep.
Do you think, I'm Tyler, by the way.
Say your name again, sir.
Tyler,
Tyler.
do you think it is smart or possible to navigate a relationship with somebody you have a lot of history and or baggage with?
Hold on, don't sit down, Tyler, after asking that.
That's good.
You do the in and out. We need more. Can you give a little more context and detail of like what do you mean by baggage? What do you mean? What's the nature of the relationship?
Just someone you previously dated that you're already familiar with, kind of like the character traits that are scary for you, and you guys already have a ton of shared history, and there's already shared trauma in the relationship that the two of you have spent a lot of time processing. But is it smart and or possible to pursue a relationship with that person if you've taken the time to become a different person, if that makes sense? We're talking like a year,
Yeah. Don't sit down, Tyler. Come on. That's great. That's a great question. I love that question.
I mean, I think you have to really ask for wisdom in that. Like, has that person also made, and it sounds like that they have made, been processing and trying to get to be the better person. I think you have to even ask maybe like friends of yours, because sometimes we have blinders on and we don't see, and it's like, that is a red flag. Don't go back. You're going to go back to the same patterns. And sometimes sadly, it's true. Even if you do grow, maybe you're better apart, and that's why you've just got healthier, because you are apart. And not to go back because it's comfortable or it's because it's someone you know or something you know, but that God may be pressing you on to the new frontier of the new you, and to let that go at separate course. But I would get wisdom from friends, and be in community with people. If you don't have healthy friends, then find healthy friends here and say, hey, I'm looking for a friend,
No, why don't you look in the back, Tyler? That's my friend Matt Pagan. Right there, Matt, raise your hand. Just being a creeper in the back right now. He's married, has a dog, so he's like, I'm just here for the hang, right? But what I love about Matt, and his wife Sammy, who's also here somewhere, they have one of the more beautiful stories at Mosaic. Because Matt and Sammy, they had so many people in their lives that told them, y'all should never date again. Because they dated, they broke up. They dated, they broke up. Every time they'd be like, should we do it? And we all were like, no. And it was like,
True story.
There was great seasons, and then there was others, but we all were like, we think it's not happening. So that's why it's good to have people in your life that can speak into it and that you trust. But also, Matt and Sammy, I love that their commitment, that the reason there was something not working, and the reason it wasn't working, they didn't blame the other person. They didn't villainize the other person. Together, they decided, we really want to be together, and we have to become the best version of ourselves. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's grow. Let's invite people into our story, call us out in the areas that need to be called out, and then if we are proud of the people that we become, then we think we're worthy of going back into this relationship, and God will bless it and He'll honor it. Yeah. And the second half of their relationship, or the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time that they did it, now, I don't know if there's two more incredible people that you look at the love that they've forged and that they're creating, than Matt and Sammy, because they fought for the good.
Yeah.
And so, you got to know yourself, and you got to know the person as well. And I love what Bec said, making sure that you're not choosing it because it's familiar and safe. But if you're like, no, I'm different, I'm more, and I see the more in you, why not give it another shot? Good. Thank you. Thank you for that question,
Let us
Tyler.
know what happens.
Yep. Oh, the best voice in the business.
Go, go, go.
My man, Go. Get ready for this, y'all.
Hi, I'm Go. My question for you all is, how do you manage individuality in your relationship?
Questions by Go. How do you manage individuality? Like, how do you not lose yourself? Are you genuinely worried about that?
No, this is just a question that popped into my head, and so I asked it. Not necessarily for me.
Because
I love it.
it's so good. It's so good because you are the most strongest person, like individual, like you know you.
100%.
So you aren't gonna lose you.
That's why I asked, because man, it's been such a gift, like getting to know Go-Go more over the course of the last few weeks, and a part of our crew in Calabasas that we're building, and community out there. And there's maybe nobody on the planet as rare as this man.
Yes.
Such a unique, like even faith in Christ and a depth, and so I don't think you have to worry about you losing yourself, you having to like sacrifice individuality. The person that God has for you and the person that you're going to connect to is going to celebrate that unique Go-Go.
Yeah.
They're going to be drawn to that version of themselves. And then the beautiful thing that we can do for each other is to help that person unleash their individual authentic self as well.
Yeah.
And go, oh my goodness, because of how comfortable he is in his skin, I feel free to be who I am.
True.
And I don't have to play the games. I don't have to guard and put on the facade and the mask, right? You know you're with the right person and can proceed moving forward with them when you feel like they don't have to see the false facade of you. They get the real you,
Yeah.
the quirky you, the like awkward you, right? The dad joke, laugh at the things that nobody else will laugh at.
I got you.
Because that's the gift of relationships, and with the person that God has for you, is that you don't have to be anyone else but yourself.
That's good. Quick, over there. And
Okay, I'm Christofina Smith, and my question is, when would be the right time to like get in, like basically be in a relationship with someone else?
When's the right time to be in a relationship?
Yeah, like what is like, when would be the right time to just find the one?
now. Go for it. Tonight's the night.
At the taco party in like 5 minutes.
I feel like if you're asking that question, it's probably now. And I feel like probably God's like, you've got this. Go for it. You know? You're going to be loved and you're going to be chosen, and someone's going to think you're the most beautiful woman in the world. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Yes,
Here, and
come to
Ashlyn.
Sammy up front.
We got to run.
I'm Sammy, and I have a question for the guys and the girls, but it's for you.
Okay.
I have a lot of guy friends who are afraid to approach girls because they don't want to be rejected, but I also have a lot of girlfriends who want to be approached but don't want to make the first move. So how can a girl make themselves open and signal that they want to be approached? So a guy doesn't look like a
It's
creep.
not on us. It's not on us.
Sammy said, hey, can y'all give us a hint?
Give us a clue. I mean, I do talk to my girls like, hey, flirt a little bit, like give the eye. I mean, I think.
What's the, can you demonstrate the eye?
I don't know. I just like eye contact first off. Eye contact's like, you know, when you know someone's watching you, then you look over and you eye contact. It's magic. It's like, oh, okay, I see you, see me. And then it's like, I think something actually gets broken, like that. The stranger, like you're not a stranger anymore. So maybe there's an opening and then you can like proceed. But I think someone said today, we met a couple and the guy was like, I had to persist. I had to push really hard because she kept saying no. She kept saying no. And now they're like happily dating. And funnily enough, she's from South Pass and he's from Hollywood. I was like, they didn't meet each other at Mosaic. They met each other on Hinge. And then they found out they were both at Mosaic, but different campuses. So this is why we have things like tonight. Crossover.
No judgment on Hinge. I felt y'all like, can you find a boo on Hinge? Yeah.
Apparently.
Do all the things, right? Find them at a coffee shop. Find them at church. Find them and kind of connected to your question, Crystal, like, if you're interested and open, that's the thing. We are always communicating.
Yeah.
We as humans are always communicating. So if that's what you want, put yourself out there, right? Go, if you want to date and you want to be married, but every night you go home and watch Netflix by yourself. Don't blame God.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Like, get out there. Like, even a friend earlier, like, he was on Mosaic this morning and he had a particular outfit on, and then I saw him when we got here tonight, and he looked a little more fresh. And I was like, okay, you're communicating something with your fit
Yes.
right now, but we are always communicating. So if, ladies too, right, God, we are dumb.
Guys, that is, yeah.
It's just we're just dumb.
Yeah, okay.
We're not as tuned in as you think we are.
It's kind of true.
So
That's
it's like,
true.
help us out a little bit, right? And so if you are open, especially ladies, if you want, you're looking to be in a relationship, you want to date, you're ready for whatever could happen, just be a little bit more open. Hang out a little bit long. Practical things.
Yes.
Don't go straight to your car and go home, right? Go to the after party, right? Tonight, some of you, a practical next step to communicate to the guy, again, if you're single in this room, you're a fella, raise your hand and make some noise. Why all day y'all been sad with your woo? You're like, okay, yeah. So here's the thing, practically, don't go home, go to the after party.
Yeah.
There's a crew of guys that you never know who you're gonna meet. So just put yourself out there, make eye contact, right? Go stand in the line. Another thing, fellas, buy somebody some tacos tonight.
It's true.
Right? Invest. If you're not willing to spend $10 on some tacos,
Then we're out. You better pay for that meal.
shoot
and
your
the next
shot.
one, and then
Buy 5 girls tacos. Spread your odds, right? Do whatever you gotta do.
your odds, exactly.
But there's a reason we're having the after party. Because sometimes you just need to say, here am I, I'm available.
Yeah.
Here am I, I'm open. And sometimes the way that you communicate that is just showing up.
Yeah.
You showed up tonight, just be
Good
willing to
vibe.
have one more conversation, one more opportunity,
Yes.
okay? Reggie.
Last question.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Ashlyn. So my question is, you both have very different cultures that you're both from.
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that while dating, and what did that look like getting into marriage and, the fun things?
What do you mean different cultures? Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What was it like dating a black guy? Simplify the question.
It was great. It's funny because, there's just so much that I didn't know. And I'm just grateful that in my naivety, you didn't put me in my place for that. You're like, honestly, I knew nothing. And when I say nothing, like singing to a rapper, and he's like, you don't say, I'm like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, keep it real, guard. Yeah,
It was-
she was singing and dropped the N-bomb.
And I swear to you, by the living God, I did not know. It's not. I'm for real.
You brought this
I
up.
cannot
keep it
believe
real.
I brought this up. Get me off this stage. I'm gonna be hated by everybody.
No, but this is why it's important, and this is a great place to land, because yes, we had a real hard conversation, because they're like, hey, you can't do that. But she didn't know. She's from Australia. I was the first black dude she ever met, right?
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Legitimately.
And I had a choice to make. Okay, is that a non-negotiable? She says it, and I'm out. I'm offended. Nope, obviously you're not the person. Nix. That's one choice, and I think a lot of us do that. Somebody makes a mistake, and we cut them out.
Yeah.
And maybe not even just dating, maybe it's in relationships, right? When did we get to the point where mistakes were the end-all, be-all?
Wow.
What relationship has not grown and forged on the other side of a mistake?
Yeah.
On the other side of asking for forgiveness,
Yeah.
right? We've lost that in our culture. We think everyone has to be perfect.
Wow.
We think everyone has to be the same. We have to standardize, right? And so we had a really difficult conversation, and what happened is it brought us closer. Because I got to, for a lack of a better term, I don't even like this word, but I got to educate her on why that was an issue. Why, it's just in a song. I'm just repeating this words in a song. I'm not actually saying it. We got to have an honest, human conversation. And she got to see not just why that could be hurtful to me, but why our words matter. And then she got to decide, will I apply the thing that you're saying to me is important and I need you to shift, or am I going to say it's more important that I get to be who I want to be? And that drew us closer, right? The hard things don't have to divide us.
Yeah.
The hard things can actually bring us closer.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the fact that we're very different. I love that she's this hobbit from New Zealand.
I hate when you say that. I'm not a hobbit.
The most beautiful hobbit that has ever lived. But you're from New Zealand. Like, it's just the land of, but I love it. We are so different. Completely different. Just so many different stories, right? But I love that I've learned so much about her through her story and her experience. I see God in a fresh way through her life. I see God's hand all over her life. And I've learned so much about who I am, not just in me telling her my story, but me appreciating the story that she comes from. And that's why I think we miss it when, and guys will be like, yeah, I only date this type of girl.
Yeah.
Or girls will be like, I only date this type of guy. Like, here's my list, 6'3". You already just eliminated 9% of LA.
Yeah.
All actors are short, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Good point.
But we have these lists. There's a difference between preferences and non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So often we put non-negotiables as preferences and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I want to be the type of person that surrounds myself with people who are different than me. Because I want to learn and I want to grow.
Yeah.
And I'm a better person. I'm a better man, husband, father because of the things I've learned about Rebecca and through Rebecca. And I'm so thankful we're not the same.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been a journey, and we're still figuring things out, right? And we're still learning. And then now raising, like, biracial kids, right, who are their mom's Kiwi, their dad's black, their grandma's Canadian, their other grandma is from Australia, and they are citizens of the world.
Yeah.
And we're raising kids that in Los Angeles get to see what happens when the world comes together. So I would just little thing, if you're only looking for people and interested in dating or connecting people who you're familiar with, it may be you're eliminating the breakthroughs and the beautiful life and love that you'll only discover when it's foreign to you, but it can be something that becomes so close to your chest.
It's good. Well, you have taught me so much. I'm glad that you didn't just shut me out when I made a mistake. And I was talking to a friend, and she was like, I feel like in marriage, I get judged by my mistakes. And I just want you to see the best in me. And I told her, I was like, you deserve someone who sees the best in you, because we all make mistakes. And I'm so grateful that you saw the best in me, even when I made mistakes, and I still make mistakes. You keep loving me, and you keep believing that I'm better than the mistake, which is what we are. We make mistakes. We choose things that we shouldn't choose. We watch things that we shouldn't watch, but it's like we redirect ourselves, and we find people who can help us be better, be stronger, and I'm just grateful I can be completely myself, and you love me, and you've helped me become a better person.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
And thank you for the greatest gift that I've ever been given. I mean, I thank you, but I thank God for you, because the reason we do this podcast, the reason we have nights like this, is because we believe that there's maybe nothing more powerful on the planet than the gift of love.
Yeah.
And that God knows what we long for and knows what we desire. And it's the hardest thing that we'll ever do. Relationships are the hardest thing you'll ever do. Putting your heart out there is the hardest thing that you'll ever do. Risking it is the hardest thing that you'll ever do. But I'm telling you, if you will just let this brother from Arizona and this Kiwi from New Zealand just share their story of love and all of the things we had to forge and all the hard moments and all the difficulty and all the challenge, I'm telling you, love is found on the other side of hard. Yeah. And it's worth it every single time. And so we want you to win in relationships. We want you to find somebody that puts color and life back into your eyes, because God knows what you want. So the question is, will you trust that he has your best waiting for you?
So thank you for listening to Unguarded podcast.
Come on.
Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and
do all the things, comment, share,
yeah.
because we think this is a message that the world needs, that when you live unguarded, you'll find the life worth living. So we love you. Until next week, we'll see you on Unguarded. God bless.
Bye.